List's ideas were passed on by means of three principal channels. His ideology, rooted in the conflict of German and Slav national interests within the Habsburg Empire, possessed an evident appeal to Völkisch groups in Germany, which also sought a chauvinistic mystique for the defense of Germandom against liberal, socialist, and Jewish political forces in the late Wilhelmian era. About Guido von List, from Nicholas Goodrick Clark, The Occult Roots of Nazism. Hello and welcome to another edition of The Stench of Truth. I was just chatting with my good friend Vocal Brush, and she pointed me to a video by Only When Provoked. Now normally I would stay on top of these types of things because they're of extreme interest to me. Personal liberties, free speech, that sort of stuff, but I don't know how I missed this. Maybe I just glossed over it at some point in time. And I'm sure somebody has sent me videos about this before. I probably might have even gotten Only When Provoked's video about it, and just for some reason it just never dawned in my mind. So I'm going to talk about it now. Constitution-free zones. It sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds like a great children's fucking book. It's just like your free speech fucking zone that you have whenever you go to a protest. Down the block, around the motherfucking corner. But it's a little bit more serious though. Check out ACLU's website. You'll find this information on the Constitution-free zones. I'm just going to read you a couple things here, just for your edification. Normally, under the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution, the American people are not generally subject to random and arbitrary stops and searches. The border, however, has always been an exception. There, the long-standing view is that the normal rules do not apply. For example, the authorities do not need a warrant or probable cause to conduct a routine search, quote-unquote. But what is the border? According to the government, it is a 100-mile wide strip that wraps around the entire boundary of the United fucking States. That's right. If you live within 100 fucking miles of any border, you are considered in the border territories. And do you know what that means? That means that you basically have no fucking rights whatsoever under the Constitution, because the Border Patrol has the right to stop you and search you. You know what else? You may have the ability, according to the law, to not incriminate yourself and to not talk to people whenever they come to you to ask questions in your use of the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution, to not incriminate yourself. But check this out. Am I required to answer the agent's questions at the checkpoint? Say you're stopped by the motherfucking Border Patrol 100 miles from the fucking border in your own goddamn hometown by Border Patrol agents, and they ask you questions. Am I required to answer the fucking agent's questions at the checkpoint? Well, no person can be required to give evidence that incriminates themselves. Well, that's good to know. That is a constitutional right. Neither can any public official compel or coerce such a statement if the person being questioned refuses to give one voluntarily. Ooh, that sounds good too. However, the law is quite clear that agents can interrogate any person who is an alien, or who the agent believes to be an alien, as to his right to be or remain in the United States. A refusal to answer could be construed as an articulable fact, supporting a level of suspicion to further investigate and possibly to arrest, depending on the totality of the circumstances at hand. So in other words, if you're in your own home fucking town and you're within 100 miles of the motherfucking border in this country, and Border Patrol agents stop you and ask you questions and want to search you, there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. And if you choose to remain silent, they can then decide that that's suspicious, search you, and fucking arrest you. That's correct. Within 100 miles of the borders in this country. How can this even fucking be? I would think this was an elaborate fucking joke if I didn't read it myself. Why aren't millions of people in this country outraged at this? Just because they're not doing it to you right now? Do you realize that 2/3 of the population of the fucking country live inside that zone? Just because the fuckers aren't pulling you over right now and ripping your car apart, that does not mean that they can't fucking do it if they want to. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. So why isn't everybody up in fucking arms about this? Get off your fucking ass and do something. Call your goddamn senators and representatives and anybody else you can fucking think of. And tell them that this is the worst fucking unconstitutional bullshit you've ever heard. And you're not going to fucking stand for it. Every little encroachment on your fucking liberties means one step further towards fucking fascism. Thank you. Good night.